And we are on. Wait a second. Okay, no boogers. No booger swag. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another TLG gaming topic commentary. Now, to be honest with you guys, I had a completely different subject planned to talk about today, and I mean completely different. But as many of you know that follow the TLG social networks, my dog of 14 years, her name was Dottie, recently just passed away and kind of inspired me to talk about today's subject, and I want this video to kind of be in memory of her, so I appreciate everybody watching. But what are we talking about, Maddie Pooh? Today we're talking about what I consider to be the top 6 coolest pets in all of video game history. So let's get into numero uno. The first pet we're going to talk about is Shadow from Dead to Rights Retribution. Now, the first thing I want to note when I'm talking about this bad mother lover is how stupid Riley is from Call of Duty Ghost. Now, I'm sure many of you are like, why the f did he even mention Riley? Everybody gives Infinity Ward credit for creating a realistic, dog experience where you get to use this dog stealthily and, take out opponents stealthily and blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. I'm about to blow the lid off this bitch. Dead to Rights Retribution already did that. The thing is that a lot of people didn't play the game and it didn't make a lot of money. But that game, the dog experience was so fun. You got to attack people up front, like basically just blow your own cover and you'd send your dog in. What happened when you sent your dog in? You would bite the testicles off of an individual. I don't know about you guys, but I like ripping off testes. So that's if you wanted to do a full frontal attack. But they also had stealth, just like in Call of Duty Ghost. You could sneak up on your opponent, your dog would tackle him, and he would rip out the freaking jugular vein out of their neck, just like Riley does in Call of Duty Ghosts. So am I saying they copied somebody? Yes. Yes, I am. Anyway, Shadow was badass in that game. He saves your life at the start of it, and you grow a great relationship. I actually really enjoyed the game myself. Next up on our list is coming from one of my favorite video games of all time, and that is Zelda Ocarina of Time. And we're talking about the horse, or steed, known as Epona. And let me get something straight for all the hardcore Zelda fans that are out there like, that's not how you pronounce her name. You don't know anything about Zelda. Well, here's the thing, okay? When I looked up online how to pronounce that freaking name, there was like 50 other ways to pronounce it. Epona, Epona, Eponia, okay, for the Spanish out there, all right? There's 1,000 ways. So I'm gonna pronounce it Epona. Deal with it or get lost. The reason why this is one of my favorite pets of all time is because it was one of the first experiences that I had in a video game that brought a lot of humanism to the experience. And here's why. You first encounter Epona at the Lon Lon Ranch. Oh yeah, I remember that shit. While you're playing as Child Link. When you first encounter the horse, it's very shy, it's scared, it's very untamed, it's running around, and it's kind of, it's just shying away from you. But as soon as you learn to play Epona's song, the horse becomes much more comfortable around you, and you start to grow a little bit of a relationship with it. When you come back as adult Link, okay, you freaking challenge the owner of the ranch to a horse race, okay? After you tame the horse playing that same song, you win, you get the horse, and you're able to experience the rest of the game with that horse, and it really just forms a good relationship, and like I said, it's one of the first times that I actually cared for a pet within a game. Next up on this swaggy list of pets, T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas, also known as Yoshi. Bet you didn't know that was his freaking name. Okay, maybe you did because they announced it a few months ago. Either way, Yoshi made his original debut in Super Mario's world playing as a sidekick that Mario and Luigi could ride, eat enemies, and you could also just navigate throughout the levels with them, and was so successful that Nintendo actually spawned a Mario World prequel known as Yoshi's Island. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you because this game was a little creepy. It was a little bit creepy because you were actually taking care of baby Mario and baby Luigi as they're, you know, basically getting their ass whooped by Baby Bowser. The most creative story in the world? No. But the game actually sold really well and spawned a whole bunch of Yoshi titles, and again was one of those first games that, you know, created a companionship between a player and a pet within the game. Next up on the list, you're probably gonna laugh at. But if you're a fan of Thug Life Gaming, you've heard me talk about this game before. Okay, my number 3 favorite pet of all of video game history is every single one of the piñatas from Viva Pinata. Yeah, I said it. Do something. You ain't gonna do nothing. Alright, but let's get real, okay? There's not a chance in this world that you played that game and you were like, okay, this is whack. 9 times out of 10, you were at least saying, okay, I might would play this more. Or buy it. And honestly, I think it's dumb that even I had a few homies that were, you know, hitting me up saying like, hey bro, have you played that Pinata game? Yes, I've played the Pinata game and I own it. It's okay to own that game. Because to be honest with you, I think it's one of the most creative games ever made, and here's why. First of all, the game is very educational. Now, it's actually considered a life simulator. So the point of this game is you start off with a bare piece of land that's just dirt that's considered your garden. Now, where the life simulator comes in is you're supposed to raise and take care of and attract as many animals or piñatas as possible within your garden. Does that sound stupid? Absolutely. Was it a stupid amount of fun? You bet your sweet ass it was. But the thing that made this game so great was all the educational tools that were used within it. In order to take care of those animals, there was a lot of problem-solving strategies that you have to figure out in order to take care of them. It also helps kids practice the use of mathematics. Now, in order to use things within your garden or trade things, manipulate things, you have to use a form of currency. So you're constantly adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and so forth, so it helps kids with their math. Another thing it does is it teaches the basics of agriculture, because you have to grow certain plants or certain trees in order to keep piñatas happy, and you have to manipulate the land itself in order to fit the preferred characteristics that certain piñatas want. And lastly, probably the most simple thing it does is it creates a great barrier between good and evil, because later on in the game you discover the antagonists, which happen to be called ruffians, those little bastards, which were basically these characters that would like hop over the fence into your garden and just freaking smash everything. God! They were so annoying! But with all that being said, obviously it's a great educational tool for children, but adults also had a lot of fun with it because there's so many piñatas to get in that game. It creates so much customization. And with the game being so beautiful itself, there was a lot of adults playing it just because it's fun as hell. Don't you lie, okay? I know you played it. I know. It's probably sitting in the back of your closet and you hide it from everybody. Anyway, okay, obviously I loved the game, but moving on. Next up on the list is a PC game, okay? I'll give you 5 seconds in order to figure out which one it is. 5, a 4, a 3. Okay, time's up. It happens to be World of Warcraft that came out in 2004. What? There was no pets in that game. Oh, but there was, and the coolest form of a pet was if you picked the Hunter class in that game. I personally think that Blizzard did one of the best jobs I've seen by creating, you know, a very personal engagement with the video game itself. At the start of the game, essentially, when you pick the Hunter, you have like 3 pets to pick from. I happen to start off with a damn crab, and I hated that crab. I murdered that crab, and then I ate the crab. But by the time you reach maximum level, you have so many freaking pets to pick from, and the cool thing about that is it almost simulates real life, to where I have multiple choices of dogs to pick from as my pet, or you might have multiple choices of cats to pick from. So it creates a very realistic, similar situation. But as you go throughout the game, what happens is a lot more humanism is brought into the game itself, where, you know, if you have to feed your pet, you have to train your pet, teach it different skills. And obviously, you know, you're taking down, you know, these huge bosses that require a lot of work. You're spending hours playing this game with this alternate little character by your side 24/7, and you start to grow a companionship with this character. And I'll tell you, one of the coolest things I think about the World of Warcraft's Hunter's pets is I remember when I reached maximum level, I had to get a different pet in order to better benefit the guild that I was in. So when I had to abandon that pet, you can imagine what I was like. Come back! Yes, it was pretty sad, but that's one of the things that I think is so cool about this game is when you have to abandon a pet, you know, and you click the little abandon button, and then all of a sudden he starts disappearing off your screen. You feel like crap. And that's because Blizzard does a great job with, you know, creating that companionship between you and that form of AI. However, moving on, my #1 favorite pet in all of video games is the hero's dog from Fable 2. Now, to give you a little bit of the background behind Fable, okay, at the end of Fable 1, there is an organization called the Heroes Guild that defeats the evil, okay? And what happens is the area known as Albion goes into a stasis of safety and comfort to where they feel as if there's no need for someone to be protecting them. And when they start getting concerned about corrupt heroes within the guild, they decide to overthrow it and destroy it. Now, what happens when you have no one protecting you? Evil. Okay, evil is what happens. So that's where you, the main character, and your dog come into play. Now, the first time you encounter your dog, all right, you're a kid, all right, you start walking down the street, and you notice a bully picking on a dog. Needless to say, you whoop his ass, which essentially saves the dog's life, okay? But that's not where your relationship starts. Later on in the game, when you're still a kid, the house that you and your sister are living at gets attacked, and she ends up getting killed. Now, that's where you meet the dog again for the second time, and what happens is that dog helps you cope with the fact that you just lost your sister, and that's where the relationship forms. I happen to think that's really cute. Okay, that's a really well-written script. And one of the cool things that the developers put in the game is the dog itself had a mood, it had an attitude about it, so where it could be sad, it could be content, or it could be really happy. And the happier it was, the better it performed alongside you. So you were able to teach it tricks. And one of the coolest freaking things that the developers put in this game was playing fetch with your dog. So basically you would pull a tennis ball out of your butt, okay, and then you would just throw it, the dog would go play fetch, and you could play fetch with your dog. That's so cool! And I loved it, okay? I thought it was awesome. It helped, you know, create that engagement between you and that animal, that camaraderie, that companionship. It just helped you form that relationship, which I thought was awesome. But that's not the main reason why this is my favorite pet of all time. The reason for that is because of the artistry and the symbolism behind the ending of this game. Spoiler alert, okay? If you plan on playing Fable 2 at some point, you need to stop listening. Because at the ending of this game, the main antagonist of the whole story pulls a gun on you. He pulls out that Glock, homie. He freaking points it at you and he shoots. And as the bullet's coming in towards you, all of a sudden your companion, your dog, throughout the whole entire game, jumps up and takes the bullet for you, and the dog actually dies. Now, the reason that's so artistic is because, like I told you before, at the beginning of the game, you actually saved that dog's life, to where now the dog is now saving your life. But the symbolism itself is also very beautifully represented and embodied by what it means to be man's best friend. That relationship between a dog and its owner is very hard to capture within a video game, and I think the developers behind Fable 2 did a very damn good job of that. But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Don't forget to comment below. Tell me some pets or maybe some animals that you think I should have listed in this video, or just give your opinion on it in general. Go click that thumbs up button to show a little love, alright? Go share the video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to Thug Life Gaming already, what are you doing? But again, thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in, especially for this episode, because it is in memory of my dog, Dottie, baby, mwah. I love you. Thank you for being such a great dog to me. And for everybody watching right now, keep living that life, okay? Because that's what Dottie would do. Take it easy, guys.